So, this is episode 6, and over the last few episodes, I have spoken about why people naturally seek these practices I talked about, and how my relationship with these practices change over time during the phase of my life, and how they can be mirrors, and how sometimes the guidance quietly becomes dependence. And after thinking about all these things together, I think the question that actually stayed with me throughout this series was that where do these practices actually belong in our lives? So, looking at all these years of my life, I don't think these practices have no value. They do. Like sometimes they help us pause, sometimes they help us notice something we weren't seeing, sometimes they offer us another perspective, and sometimes they just simply help us reflect. And sometimes, even when we reject them, they help us see why. Because in my case, I rejected them when I saw people and environment around me giving more authority to the mirror than their own judgment. And even that gave me another perspective. So I don't think there's anything wrong with these different perspectives. And apart from that, I think these practices are not the only things that offer us perspectives. I mean, even a conversation can do that, a book can do that, a movie, a series, nature can do that, a dream can do that. I mean, life just keeps us offering different ways of looking at ourselves. And practices like tarot, astrology, numerology, or similar are just one more perspective among many we have in life. And these are not something separate from life, but just another way of looking at it. And perhaps that's when this question actually stopped for me, that whether these practices are right or wrong. And the question actually slowly became, what place do I want to give them in my life? Because that's the only part that has always remained in my hands. The place we give something in our life is always our choice. And no perspective can ever make that choice for us. I mean, whether that perspective comes from a tarot reading, an astrological chart, a numerology report, a book, nature, or even a conversation with someone we deeply trust and connect to. After all, everything these things offer, it remains a perspective. It may help us notice something. It may help us pause and reflect. And it may also even help us understand ourselves differently. But all these perspectives cannot choose on our behalf. And perhaps that's why I no longer feel the need to completely reject or to surrender to these practices. I fall in neither category. I mean, they simply occupy a place where they can help me reflect without replacing my own reflection. I mean, they can help me notice without replacing my own judgment. They can help me pause without replacing my own responsibility towards myself. So I think that's answer the question for me. And if this entire series has been trying to say one thing, perhaps it is simply this, that life offers us perspectives in many different forms. Some through people, some through stories, some through nature, some through books, some through dreams, some through practices like these. And each one of them can help us notice something, but the power to choose has always remained with us. And perhaps that's exactly where it belongs. And perhaps that's where this first conversation comes to an end. I don't know if I will return to this subject again. Maybe I will, because life keeps offering us new perspectives as long as we remain willing to notice them. But for now, I think this is where my own reflection has arrived.